Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 2 walkthrough, Indiana Jones style. Well, let's go ahead and equip the stone ring. We don't need the whips right now. We're going to go Chaos Blade and Puzzling Stone Sword. And we're just going to run through this area. There's no advantages to fighting these guys right now. We just want to get to the Elim Lois Knight. So we might take a few hits or whatever, but we're okay. Just keep on running. Now, there's an NPC coming up that's rather difficult because there's an ice golem near her position, and if you get too close to her, she will back up and get close to the ice golem, and you'll have to fight both of them at the same time. And she's got incredibly powerful magic, so you don't want to mess around with her. That's why we're going to use Chaos Blade on her. Now, coming up here, if you go straight ahead, there's an enemy that's kind of blocking your path. Well, we're going to draw him out, and then we're just going to go forward and drop down the staircase right like this. Now, this next area coming up is pretty much a cluster. There's going to be a guy sniping you right here from the right. Try not to get hit. Now here, we're just trying to get through here. Try to just run and roll past these guys. The ice rapiers are rather easy to dodge if you can see them coming, but sometimes you'll be on a ladder and they'll snipe you while you're on the ladder in the process of going down, and it's quite frustrating, I must say. But we're only trying to get to the bottom as quickly as possible. We're not going to engage any of these enemies, and sometimes they will follow you down there. One of them will try to follow you down there on occasion. It doesn't happen all the time, but it will happen. So you're not completely safe down here. And there's some dogs right here. We're just going to run in, take one swipe, and follow through with our spin attack. Very effective for taking out the dogs. There's one more pack of dogs we have to deal with before we're going to fight the NPC invader. And it's kind of like an ambush. There's going to be a dog off to the right through an entrance waiting to pounce. So there's one on to the far wall there you can see in the distance. But there's one behind these crates, and just try to get the jump on them by just destroying the crates. Dogs are easy to dodge. Just let them attack and then sidestep them. Now for the invader. This invader's got very powerful dark magic. And basic, just try not to get close to her initially, because she might back up into the ice golem's aggro range, because there's an ice golem that's guarding the entrance to the Elim Lois Knight. So what I like to try to do is get her to come to me. I don't like to get close to her right away, so I'm going to kind of stay back and hope she comes to me. You don't want to get close to her, but like I said, you don't want to draw that aggro from that golem. So try as hard as you can to dodge through these black magic spells, because getting hit by them is near death. You're gonna be close to death. So we're just gonna go in with Chaos Blade and just pound her as fast as we can. Try to break her poise. If you can get a heavy attack in there, try to do it. But see, she's going back for the ice golem now. This is where it gets hairy. And that attack she just did, if you get hit by that, it's lights out pretty much. And now we can just kill the ice golem, no problem. Now we can recruit our second Elim Lois Knight of 4. Trust me, you're going to want all these knights. I mean, when you get to the boss, you'll know why. Always make sure you get the text on the screen that says the Elim Lois Knight has seeked the chaos. When you see that text, you can go ahead and leave the area. Now for the next one. It's not going to be as easy. We've got to go through quite a few enemies. We've got to go through an invader. There's some very strategically placed enemies here, because there's these golems that are activated by souls, and if they're close to the golems when you kill them, it's going to activate the golem, and then you have to deal with that on top of the enemies, and you don't want that to happen. So you have to kind of be strategic on how you kill these enemies, where you kill them. And I messed up on one of them. It's not what I intended to do, but I'll show you. You're going to want a ranged weapon for this first part and Chaos Blade. Now I like to kill this retainer here. Now the guy up top usually won't aggro. You can just kill that retainer and leave. Now as soon as the door opens, I like to get my crossbow out and start shooting the retainer as soon as I can. You don't actually draw the aggro. Sometimes you can shoot the enemy and it won't draw aggro if you stand right here. and be very careful. You can just snipe this one. Well, we've already got her attention, so we're just going to continue to snipe her from the safety of the doorway here. You don't want to go in there guns a-blazing because there's too many enemies, and there's also an ambush later where a big dude comes through the door. He's one of those spear-wielding guys, and I can't stand him. Now see, right there, after we kill that retainer, you want to get Chaos Blade out and wait for the golem to come to us. I like to fight him in this hallway just because it's easier to dodge. You definitely don't want to fight him in that room, that's for sure. Or in the hallway just before it, because the enemies can see you in fighting the golem and they'll just try to help out the golem. So here is the best area to fight the golem here. Basically just dodge, get behind him and hit with Chaos Blade and rinse and repeat. There's nothing to this. Well, there's also a stomp he has that is quite powerful. Just be wary of that. Now we're going to snipe this one from the corner of this doorway. This one is not aggroed, as you can see. This is what I meant, when they'll just stand there and let you pelt them. Now we still got 2 more enemies, and there's going to be another big dude that comes through. There's also a mimic in this room, as well as the golem. So what I like to do is just try to draw one of them towards me, and get ready for that big dude to come through the doorway, because he's coming. There he is. I can't stand this guy. He's got that spear. Spear enemies are just so difficult to deal with. But I like to fight him in this hallway, try to break his poise immediately. That's why we're going with Chaos Blade. We're not messing around here. Of course, the whip is good for taking them out, but we're looking for breaking their poise very quickly. Alright, for right here, get Puzzling Stone Sword out and deal with the Mimic. And this Mimic will drop a very useful item. The Symbol of Avarice. You've seen this one before from Dark Souls 1. Now we can fight the Golem with no enemies in the room. Yeah, see, they do quite a bit of damage, so be careful. There's some good items in this chest here. Some Petrified Dragon Bone. Always make sure to get this. There's actually 3 and 3 Twinkling as well. Now for this next area. You're going to get invaded here, but you won't see him right away. In fact, he's going to be using a spell that camouflages him as a barrel. So he's trying to sneak up on you later, and he has killed me like that. So, well, I'll show you what barrel he's hiding in. Right here is where I screwed up. I wanted to kill this retainer right where she stands. If you can do that, then you're good. But see, what happens is you'll get hit from behind by these enemies coming down the staircase right here. There's 2 spear enemies. My favorite, of course. Make sure you take them out as quickly as you can so you don't have to fight both of them at the same time. Here comes the next one. Chaos Blade makes pretty short work of them. Now, here's where I was hoping that the retainer would go away from the golem, and I thought she might be far away enough away, but no. Don't kill her too close, because then this will happen. You'll have to fight the golem. And I wanted to do it where I killed all the golems, all 3 of them, with 1 hit from the double whips, but you'll see I only kill 2 of them now. So ideally, you don't want to fight this guy like this. If you can kill the retainer far enough away from the group of golems, you don't have to do this. So what I want to do now is I want to go Vanquisher Seal. And to get your double whips, old whips out, just for this one part. We're going to do 3 overhead attacks, 3 R2s and 1 R1, and then go to the next guy. 3 R2s and 1 R1. Now we're going to get our whips out and finish them off with 1 hit. Now I've taken all 3 of them out like that. Like I said, if you can kill the retainer far enough away, you can get all 3 of them like that. Now, we're not really going to fight too much more on our way to the Elim Moist Night, because, again, the retainer is right there next to the golems, and we don't want to activate the golems anymore. But if you want to, you can hit them from a distance if you want. But to me, I just thought it was not beneficial to kill the enemies right here. I drew this guy away from the golems, but we're not going to kill the retainer. We're just going to run past it. And our next Elim Moist Night is right here. Unfortunately, we can't go back to the bonfire via the feather or Homer Bone here because we've been invaded. Like I said, that guy that's going to camouflage himself. So you can't go back to the bonfire. So you're going to have to kill the invader or go back or go to your next position or whatever you want to go to. But we're going to take out the invader along the way. You're going to have to deal with him eventually because he will keep following you. We want to get Stone Ring out and Chaos Blade. And we're going to buff it. We're not messing around. This guy's got some pretty good combos that kill you pretty quickly. So you want to get the jump on him. He's right up the staircase. He's right there next to that, right there in front of us, that barrel right in front of us. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the first lick on him. I think if you get too close to him, he just goes ahead and appears. But you can get the jump on him with a ranged weapon. I've done it with whips before, but this guy, these invaders, man, you don't want to mess with them. They're very powerful. Get your Chaos Blade out and don't mess around. There we go. And he's gone. Now we are going to go get the Bone Fist. Now this is a weapon. I may or may not use it for this rest of this playthrough. I don't know. It is a very fun weapon to have. I know I've seen videos of it, and it's pretty cool moveset. So I really wanted this weapon, so that's why we're going to get it. It's not that hard to get. Plus, we need the key to get into the frozen outskirts of Elim Moist, so we need to go into this area anyway. Now, well, let's get our double whip set out again, because we are going to kill some enemies along the way, and there's a reason for that, because that one area where you get, there's a very tight tunnel or whatever, and there's an enemy right there, you'll get gangbanged from behind if you don't kill this first group of enemies, so we're just going to kill them. Trust me, I've tried running through this area, and this is the result. You will die because of that one section. So as before, just double, do your pincher move. And we're going to kill the dogs again at the base of the stairs. And that's it. That's all the enemies we're going to kill. Now here's the area I was talking about. If you try to run past all these enemies, you're going to go through this area right here where this retainer is and this like tunnel right here. It's just too tight, and he's blocking your way. By the time you kill this guy, you're going to get hit from behind and dead. So that's why we kill those enemies to start with. Once we kill these dogs, then we're just going to run to the next area. Because the aggro, they will not give chase all the way to the next area that we got to go to, which is cool. Unfortunately, I get invaded randomly. This invasion doesn't happen all the time, at least not from my experience. So I had to. It took me longer to get through this area than I would have liked. I would have just used a feather to get back to the bonfire, and fortunately, I had to go. See right here, I'm invaded, so I had to go deal with the invader. But right now, we're just going to go to the Bone Fist. Now, he will not follow you to the Bone Fist. The invader won't. He won't. He's going to stand his ground where he invaded you. And all these enemies will not follow you to the Bone Fist, so don't worry. We just got to get through this one little room here. And you're invincible while you're opening the door, so just get through the door. Once you get to this area right here, they're going to stop giving chase. So you can take your time, relax, heal, whatever you got to do. But we got to light these 4 torches here to open the door. We couldn't do it before because the winds were too high. We're only interested in 2 of the items in this room. The Bone Fist and the key. Of course, there's some other items you can get, but we're just not interested in wasting time right now. Because there's a Flexile sentry at the very back of this room that's guarding the key. And we just don't want to deal with him. But like I said, if you didn't get invaded, you can just homeward bone back to the bonfire. But unfortunately for me, I was invaded, so I couldn't do that. So here's your Bone Fist, right here. We're just going to roll off the cliff here and get the key and get out of here. Our objective now is to take out the invader. Of course, you may or may not get invaded. So if you didn't get invaded, just feel free to feather back to the bonfire. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't do that. And I'm not dealing with any of the other enemies either. I'm just running past them again. Here's where we might get in some trouble, just because it's so many enemies in this room. You might have to kill a few along the way. Well, that one just jumped past me. Now here's where the invader is. He's going to give you chase from this point on. There he is. He's got a scythe. You fought him in the we fought him in the Aldia's Keep. But there's no enemies here because we took them out and we didn't set it a bonfire, so we're good. We can fight this NPC with little to no resistance. But we're going to fight him in a controlled environment. Like right here. Try to stun lock him if you can. We don't have the stone ring equipped at the time, but I should have taken the knuckling ring off and put the stone ring on. But your double R2s, or R1s, will take them out. Now we're going to go kill the main boss of this area, the Burnt Ivory King. The boss itself isn't that hard. What's hard is getting to the boss. This is why we recruited the Ilium Lois Knights to help us out. The more Ilium Lois Knights you have, the easier this fight is going to be. That's why we went for all 4 of them. Now, the Knights do more than one thing. They help you in battle, but more importantly, they will close down the portals. There are portals in this boss arena where enemies are going to continuously respawn. That's what makes this fight so hard, is because you have to constantly fight these enemies, and they are not easy to kill. They have a tremendous amount of poise, and they do a ton of damage, and they will gank you. They love to gank you. If you try to go off and fight one by themselves, they'll just gang up on you until you're dead. Alright, let's go through the loadout, guys. The only thing you're going to need weapon-wise is the Puzzling Stone Sword and the Chaos Blade. What's more important is your items. We're going to go all the health gems we have, life gems we have, get all the varieties, get as much healing as you can possibly get, and get a Bright Bug. And we're also going to use Green Blossom as well for the first part, just because we want to make sure we can spam our Puzzling Stone Sword as much as possible to help the Ilium Lois Knights out. Now, what you don't want to do is go off on your own. You want to kind of conform to what the Ilium Knights are doing. If they're fighting a particular enemy, just go after that particular enemy and help them out. It's better to just kind of sit back and help out the Ilium Lois Knights. Don't go off into your own thing. The worst of the enemies are by far the Pyromancers. There's Pyromancers in this area that will spawn as well. And they have extremely powerful pyromancy. There's one in particular that travels along the ground. So we're going to take our first Green Blossom here. And right now we're just kind of trying to find out who the Ilium Lois Knights are attacking. So this guy's getting attacked, so we're going to go for this guy. And there's that one I hate that attack. just kind of stay close to the Elim Voice Knights. And try not to use your Estus. And spam R1 with your Puzzling Stone Sword as much as you can. I guess the Leo Ring would have been another good addition here, but I just didn't... I'm not sure how to use it that well. But we are using a thrust attack, so I guess it would work. And you can see one of the Elim Voice Knights has already closed up one of the portals. You see how they come and gangbang you? Like, that guy came from behind. As long as you take your time and let the knights, just let them do most of the work, but help them out. Just help them out. That's all you gotta do. They'll buff themselves and close off the portal. One of the other portals eventually. Just try to, like I said, if you can get isolation like right here, there's no enemies around, so I'm trying, but you see he comes in. It's like they're programmed to come get you if you attack one of them. It's like, well, he's attacking one by himself. I'm going to go send 3 guys his way. But they're all dead now. And now we want to switch to the Bloodcrest Ring. We're not going to use Chaos Blade just yet. We want to kill... There's one more guy. That portal isn't closed yet on the left. We're more interested in the portal to the left because that's a Pyromancer that's going to come out of that portal. But the Burnt Ivory King's going to come in the middle. Right now, we're interested in taking this guy out, so we're going to go ahead and flank him and get ready for him. The Elim Voice Knights that remain will go after the Burnt Ivory King and give you some breathing room to take out the Pyromancer. We're just going all at him. Now, once he's dead, switch to Chaos Blade and buff it. We're doing really well here. We have 2 Elim Voice Knights fighting, but one of them's fixing to sacrifice themselves, so you're only going to have at least one fighting you. And we're just going to use our strong attacks with Chaos Blade as much as we can. This is basically an ideal situation. If you have an Elim Voice Knight helping you fight the Ivory King's first phase, then you're really going to be in good shape. But get your Bright Bug out when he gets about to half health and go ahead and activate it. You'll take less damage and deal more damage. And he's buffed his sword now, so he's going to do a lot more damage to you. But it's basically just roll behind him, use strong attacks, rinse and repeat. And we have the extra help with the Bright Bug, so we're really going to make short work of the Ivory King here. Should have finished him off right there. And that's basically the gist. The more knights you have, the easier this fight is. We only used 1 Estus, so yeah, that was a pretty solid fight there. We'll get the soul of the Ivory King, and we'll also get the crown of the Ivory King. We have 2 of the 3 crowns. You don't have to homeward bone back. There's a way right here to get back to the throne room. And now all that remains in this DLC is the frozen outskirts of Elim Voice, which we're going to do next. But we got to go back to Majula and get ready for that one. There's some items that we need to get. So this queen is apparently part of Manus from the first game. That's what she was just describing. Interesting. And now we're off to Majula, where we need to buy a couple of items from Rosalina. We need to get a ring that's going to help us with lightning damage, because the reindeer love to shoot lightning at us. And we're going to buy some small yellow burrs in case we didn't have enough. I only had like 4, so I wanted to buy some more. And also, we need to go into our item box and dig out the Gower's Ring of Protection. Alright guys, after thinking about it for a while, I realized that I can get a much better ring than the one that I would buy from Rosalina. But it's tucked away in the Sunken King DLC, but luckily it's very easy to get. So we're going to go ahead and get that right after we level up all of our vigor using all of our souls here. We're going to pop every soul we have minus the boss souls. And as I was playing the game, the further I got along, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna use all the boss souls. I'm gonna save some of them. So we're not gonna pop any of the boss souls. We're just gonna do the regular ones. This should put us at about 400,000 souls after beating the Ivory King and all those enemies that we killed earlier. And of course, Ava the boss to get to the Ivory King. So we'll have plenty of souls here to spend. And we should be able to get our vigor close to 40. I think I got it to 38, which is pretty good. Just close to the first soft cap. So yeah, we're just going to level up our vigor. And trust me, you're going to need health for the remainder of this game, because the rest of the game is pretty difficult with the bosses and everything. Especially the boss that we're about to fight in the frozen outskirts. We're going to have to use a lot of items to help us get through this one. But first, let's go to the Tower of Prayer bonfire in the Sunken King DLC. We're looking for the Thunder Clutch Ring +3. So as soon as you come out, you'll find this little area you can drop down here. We're going to use the cat ring. And we're just going to drop down to this platform. And then we have to make a jump to this next platform. And we'll get it. And that's it. Now we can get out of here and go to the frozen tundra of death. This place really is full of crap. I mean, the infinite reindeer that spawn that have incredible lightning damage, which is why we're getting this ring, one of the reasons. And we're getting yellow burrs because we need lightning defense. And also, even more important than that, we're going to get Gower's Ring of Protection from the item box here. This is the ring that we got from killing the Executioner's Chariot in the Drangleic Castle area. This will cause hardly any damage to be given to us from behind. And the reindeer love to come from behind with their horns, so we're going to take very, very little damage when we have the Gower's Ring of Protection equipped. Now, the problem is we have to keep using repair powder every time we take a hit. I usually pump about two repair powders per hit, because one repair powder isn't going to get your ring to max again. I tested it. It takes about 2 or 3, depending, of course, how much damage the ring has taken. And the reindeer love to damage your rings. Right here, I'm just going through all the possible healing items that I need. I found out later on that the dragon charm and all that, don't use them. They take way too long to use, and you'll die very quickly from the 2 Ava clones if you try to do that in the middle of combat. So we're going to forego that one, and I'll get rid of it later. But the main thing is, have your most powerful healing items available. That means Divine Blessings, Elizabeth Mushrooms if you have them. I only have 1 in this situation. And we want to have Green Blossom as well, because we need to be able to pound the first Ava into submission before the second one comes in. Trust me, it's not easy to take on both Ava clones at the same time. Possible, but very frustrating. They have very powerful attacks. They buff themselves too. One of them will buff themselves after they take a lot of damage. But anyway, let's get to the actual area that we have to get to. Now that we have the key, we can get into where the frozen outskirts is, the bonfire we need to get to. Unfortunately, there is no bonfire once you get to the frozen outskirts. It's just one area, it's wide expanse, and that's it. You have no... If you die, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. You got to go through 2 loading screens and do it all over again. So you don't want to fail. However, this area is completely unfair for certain situations. But there is no checkpoints. You have to do it in one straight shot. Let's just go ahead and hit the bonfire here and jump in the coffin. They shouldn't be able to get to us. Now, the area is not that bad if you know how to go through it, and I'm going to try to show you the easiest way that I found to go through it. It takes about 5 minutes to get to the boss, roughly. 4 to 5 minutes. But right off the bat here, you're going to see you don't see anything. It's just a big... You basically are blind. You'll have these storms that come through and you won't be able to see anything. The wind is too high, but then it'll clear up for about 15 seconds or so, and then you'll have double the amount of time to look at nothing. So there are landmarks to use, and we'll use those landmarks to find our next area. We're definitely going to use summons. We're going to use 2 summons, but this is the thing. We're not going to take the summons into the boss arena with us, because it's just going to buff the boss even more. So we're going to use our black crystal to separate them from us before we go into the fog wall. It's very important that we do this, because if you don't, sure, you'll have some summons to help you with the boss, but most of them are going to be near death anyway because of the reindeer, and then they're going to increase the boss's health and damage. It's just not worth it. So we're going to get rid of them as soon as we get to the fog wall. Now, I like to stand right here and wait until it clears up and then just run for the next building. I like to have my small yellow birds equipped and ready to go just in case a reindeer... And a reindeer will come between this trek and the next building. So about halfway or so, I start eating it. And then I'm going to switch to my repair powder because Gower's Ring of Protection is going to take some damage. And we want to make sure we keep it topped off as much as possible. So we're going to spam repair powder every time we take a hit. We're going to throw it up at least 2 times per hit. At lightning, I usually do 3 times. But you want to aim, you get the reindeer to hit you in the back. See, it didn't take hardly any damage from me. And that's what you want. You want the reindeer to hit you from behind. Some just repair powder there, and just keep on running. Your summons will take a lot of the aggro for you, so you don't have to worry too much about them. The problem is getting equipped and getting ready for the boss and banishing your 2 friends before you can get to the fog wall, because sometimes the reindeer will follow you all the way to the fog wall. Not all the time, but they will. And you don't want to aggro any more enemies. And this is the last part right here. That's the last building right there you need to get to. So just follow that all the way down. Get your black crystal ready. Or your yellow bird. We're going to eat one more. And here we go again. Another reindeer coming in. And that Gower's Ring of Protection really is a lifesaver. You take pretty much no damage with this ring. Now, you want to make sure you get in front of the doorway before going straight. You want to go straight through to reach the canyon to the boss. It's not easy to find, but if you aim yourself about right here and just go straight through. I usually wait until it's clear. But there will be another reindeer that comes usually right here as a last-ditch effort to get you. There's a Ring of the Living on the right, but we didn't want to get it right now. Right here, you're still not safe. Don't think just because you're down here that the reindeer can't follow you, because they can. But the aggro is being taken by our friends, so we're about to banish them. But we want to make sure we get all of our stuff ready for the boss. And trust me, we better have everything ready. The less stuff you have in your equipment bar, the better. But we want to make sure we have the most healing items. We're going Bloodcrest Ring and Chloranthy Ring. We're going to have an Elizabeth Mushroom still. We're getting rid of the yellow burrs, and we're going to get rid of the black crystal once we use it. We have to use it here and banish our 2 friends. Try to do as much buffing as you can before going through the fog wall. Buffing the blade. Let's get our green blossom out next. We're going to eat that, and it's showtime. We don't want to be fumbling through our inventory bar, so as soon as we get through the fog wall, get rid of the crystal. Now, just start with your Estus for now. As soon as it's the same as the other Avaclone, is if your best option to attack opportunity to attack is when he's doing the crystal thing. They do more damage than the other boss, though, I'm pretty sure. Don't get hit by that charge either. That's a very powerful attack. That's the one right there you got to really be careful of. That 180 spin. Be very careful of that. You'll have to dodge that a few times. But you just generally want to get behind him. Once the second one spawns in, just go ham on the first one. Try to kill him before the second one comes in and starts attacking you. Now we're in good shape here. We killed the first one. And this one's just arrived, so we're okay. Healing is dangerous in here. We're going to use an Elizabeth mushroom to keep regenerating our health. And try to just be very careful when using your Estus. Don't do it in front of him. Heavy attacks are best. And you can see we do a good job dodge there. We can't get it that time. Be careful of the AoE attack. That's a good time to heal right there when he does the AoE attack. It's basically just getting behind him and hitting him with Chaos Blade, rebuffing here, and I'm going to use some more Green Blossom. We want to make sure we have just enough stamina to just go ahead and just empty it. Empty the stamina bar as much as you can once you start attacking. We've nearly killed him, and he hasn't buffed yet. So we're going to try to kill him before he can buff, and he runs away. But it takes him a while, and we're just going to go in for a stab, and we got him before he could buff. So it is possible. Chaos Blade with the Bleeding Serum is still the way to go for most bosses I have found. And that's it. We have finished the Ilium Lois DLC and done one of the worst areas considered in Dark Souls 2, or in the entire series, some people think. Now, I thought about going to get the Ring of the Living, but then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to lose all these souls, and if I'm probably going to die by the reindeer, so I just decided it's not worth it. So we're going to use a feather to get out of here and go level up one more time at the Emerald Herald, and that's going to be it, guys. The next episode will be the Old Iron King DLC. I've actually never done this one yet, so it might take me a few weeks. I might not have a whole lot of time to play it, but I've never played the Iron King DLC, so this is new territory for me. But I'm sure with as powerful as our character is, we'll be able to beat it no problem. And that's it. See you guys next time.